First of all, let's talk about Travis Wilson and the situation there, get that addressed. Never bring notes, but I got some notes here to make sure I cover all the points and walk you through this. Suffered a concussion at ASU. It was on the play where the ball came loose down in the red zone. It was a QB run, and so didn't really have any symptoms after the game, directly after the game, or during the game, so that wasn't readily apparent that it was a concussion. It was the next day that a headache and some things started to surface. So anyway, that was the beginning of it. Through the concussion diagnosis process, a pre-existing problem was discovered, and so that proceeded to, they proceeded to give him an angiogram to take a closer look, and that confirmed that there was a pre-existing problem and something that needs to be addressed and continue to be monitored. Travis is done for the season. He's out. He's been declared that not able to play for the rest of the year. Could be career-ending. We'll find out. But it could very well be career-ending, and we won't know for certain for several months. Travis is a tough, competitive kid. Very upset by this, obviously, and disappointed, to say the least. And he was a big part of what we're doing on offense. Obviously, he's our starting quarterback, and we're going to miss him. But the most important thing is his long-term health, and that's all anyone right now is really concerned with, and that is the bottom line. And so the medical staff is proceeding to make sure that everything is done in the proper order and the proper way to make sure that is the thing that we're addressing. Travis will not be available for comment or interview. It's no need for that, and this will be the last time we discuss it again until we have more definitive answers as to what's going on. And so that being said, any questions or things I didn't cover you may have want to ask. Yeah.
Can you discuss what specifically?
No, I'm not a doctor, and I wouldn't want to screw it up. And so it's just something. It's a head trauma, and pre-existing, and I'm not even sure it's trauma. It could be, genetic for all. I'm not completely involved in all that part of it. So.
Scott, do you know how unusual it is to suffer a concussion, have no symptoms until the next day? Is that
quite not quite unusual, quite common. I mean, in fact, most of our concussions aren't discovered until the next day or two in some cases. Yeah.
So based on what you just said, is it not true that that concussion affected his play the rest of that game?
I can't answer that. He didn't feel like it. He felt fine, like I said, and so I would have to say that the same answer as before, that he didn't feel like it had an impact on his performance.
How are you and the staff then proceeding with this? You said it could be several months till you have a further diagnosis.
Yeah.
How are you proceeding with Travis's future? Is he still going to be part of the team on a day in and day out basis? How's that going to work?
Yeah, absolutely. We want him around the program, close to the program. He'll address the team today, and he wants to do that. And he's, as far as we're concerned, he's a part of our team now going forward, recruiting-wise. We're going through that right now as to how to handle it, because we're not going to have definitive answers, like I said, for several months, most likely. And so we're in the process of evaluating all that, as far as what we do going forward.
So just to clarify, the concussion against Arizona State isn't related to what was discovered in that angiogram. That was a pre-existing condition before that concussion. So the concussion led to you discovering what was going on.
The way I understand it, that's exactly right.
Is this a life-threatening deal for Travis, or?
The way I understand it, no, but may put him at higher risk, because of it, if he were to continue to play. But that's still to be determined. Yeah, okay. New train of thought. First of all, Oregon game, there were some positives that come out of it. and any time you win or lose, there's things you learn. But I thought our offensive line played better. I was proud of the way Adam Schultz came in a very difficult situation, first collegiate start against a top 10 team on the road, hostile environment. Thought he handled it well. Missed some throws, didn't play perfectly, and he understands that, but did a pretty good job. We came out, we went into halftime 17-7, came out, took the first drive, scored, and feeling pretty good about things. Then the kickoff return was the play of the game. I mentioned that at the press conference after the game, and never regained momentum after that. They took all the momentum with that play, and we never were able to get much going at all on either side of the ball after that. And so that was, defense, relative to what that team has been doing to everybody else, 600 yards and 50 points and this and that, I thought our defense hung in there and did some good things, but we don't measure ourselves against everybody else defensively. We have certain standards here, and by our standards, we didn't play very good defense. So it was disappointing. Special teams, maybe the biggest disappointment. We haven't lost a special teams battle. I can't remember when the last time we got handled on special teams like we did in that game, and that was another big part of the reason why we came out on the short end. Washington State, looking ahead, Mike Leach has done a nice job with that program. They've improved. They're 5-5 right now. Got a nice win at Arizona over the weekend. Connor Halliday, a very good quarterback, throwing the ball a ton. We expect anywhere from 50 to 80 throws. That's just what they do, and that's who they are, and do a good job with it. And they're playing good defense. Beat SC in the Coliseum early in the year, and so they are a much improved team. And we got our work cut out for us, as we do every week. As looking at the schedule, and the last 6 weeks, 5 of those teams are top 25 teams. I'm just sitting here thinking, every week is just a complete challenge, and 5 of 6 have been in the top 25, like I said. But I guess that's neither here nor there, other than it's been a tough stretch for us.
What can you guys do as an offensive staff to help Adam out more? It seemed like there were an exorbitant number of drops and plays that maybe could have been made that he maybe put your team in position to make.
Good point, and Adam's numbers were not indicative of how he played, because there were 5 or 6 drops, balls that should have been caught, and which would have improved his numbers greatly. But what we can do, number one, is establish a strong run game. And we didn't run the football very effectively against Oregon. We had over 100 yards, but I think it was like 2.8 a carry, which is nowhere near efficient enough. And that's the best way to protect a quarterback and to assist a quarterback, is a strong running game, and didn't get that done. The pass protection was pretty good. When you look at what it was a week prior and 2 weeks prior as well, the pass pro was much improved, and it was good to see Adam get back there and have some time to throw the ball. But now we have time to throw the ball and we don't catch it. And so if it's not one thing, it's another.
Schultz's style of play have the effect on the improved pass protection?
No, I don't think so. We didn't tweak much in the offense. Adam has got a strong arm. That's his strong suit, is the way he throws the football. Capable runner, not as likely to run or as efficient a runner as Travis, but still capable. But we tweak things a little bit to accentuate what he does best, and some quick game stuff and some shots up the field. But like I said, I thought he handled himself pretty well given the circumstances.
How much is it going to help open up the offense to have Jake Murphy back healthy, and
Is that you?
being a part of the offense?
Jake Murphy, yeah, it was great to have him back. He's still a little tentative with that hand, as you'd expect. I mean, there's a bunch of screws or plates or something in it, and so it's still not completely healed, but he's a tough kid and wanted to be out there and was cleared to be out there. And so we got to try to implement him more. He's got to help us, and it's not, it's us needing to dial up more for him in the plan. Now, we didn't know he was going to play until the end of the week, and so we didn't have the luxury of when we were game planning to know that he was available. Now we do know, so I'm sure we're going to make him more of a point of emphasis.
You talked a little bit about the offensive line. I just wanted to get specifics. When was the decision made on Asiata? And will we see Asiata starting again next week against Washington?
The decision was made by Thursday. Typically, if you can't practice by Thursday, we don't we don't play you, or at least only in an emergency role. And with Cioce Iono unavailable on Thursday's practice and still limping around, the decision was made at that time to put Isaac in the lineup. I thought Isaac responded very well. He played solid football, and you will see him the rest of the way, either whether it's a starter or in a rotation capacity, but he's going to continue to play. And hopefully we get Cioce back this week. He's still a little bit hobbled, but we'll find out more tomorrow where he stands.
With a couple of freshmen that you're dealing with as active quarterbacks, how will you handle that if Adam does go down a play or two?
Yeah, we're one snap away from, and we've had that discussion with Connor Manning, and if he has to play, he has to play. When unforeseen things happen, our plan was to redshirt him, and then a few weeks back we made the decision to not tamper with that decision, barring unforeseen circumstances. These are unforeseen circumstances that we're in right now, and so if something happens to Adam, it's Connor, and if something happens to Connor, it's Brandon Cox. And so the unfortunate part, if that happens, is you got to burn 2 redshirt years. There's no other options. I guess we could convert a running back into quarterback or something, but you got to give yourself the best chance to win every week. And so those 2 guys have both had that discussion put to them, and they're willing, if they need to be called upon, they're ready to go.
Do you have an emergency plan? Again, weird circumstances, helmet pops off, you have to come out.
Yeah, we do have that, and we wouldn't, it would have to be, but the helmet pops off. We do have a situation where we could cover ourselves for a play or 2, or if you get the wind knocked out of you, something like that. But if there's anything that is beyond that, then yeah, we'd make the adjustment.
Can you tell us a little bit about Travis's state of mind? Is he in a state of shock right now? And you went through this before with Jordan Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
How do you help someone deal with possibly their career just ending like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a state of shock, but very disappointed. He's a competitive kid, as I mentioned earlier, and he wants to be out there in the worst way. And so it's hard on him. It's really hard on him. I met with him and his father yesterday at length, and it's just a situation where he's disappointed. But as far as in shock, I didn't sense that at all.
Coach, you talked about having conversations. Who had the conversation with Adam, saying, "Hey, you're the guy for the rest of the season," and how did that go?
Well, I think Brian Johnson, Dennis, and Adam, and it's pretty. Adam, once Travis was declared unable to play the rest of the way, I mean, it was a given. It wasn't any decision to make, but you have to, Adam's. Oh, there he is, right there. You can talk to him afterwards and find out how he felt, and right, Adam, you can be able to say all that. Okay, yeah, Adam will talk about that. Yeah.
Coach, your most recent trip to Pullman, the Blizzard game, the weather this Saturday is 45 and cloudy right now, but Pullman, it can go either way.
It can, but we're used to that. I mean, we're very similar climates, I think. I've never lived there full time, but the times I have been there, it's very similar to what we're used to here, so that shouldn't be a factor either way for either team.
You got a 4th and 1 in third quarter that you guys chose the punt instead of go for it, even less than 1. Seemed like Oregon kind of steamrolled you after that. What was the thinking behind it?
What was the yard line? Refresh my memory.
40,
Yeah, 39-40. I thought it was a little bit too deep in our territory, and we weren't really controlling the line of scrimmage in the run game. The yards were hard to come by, and I thought, our best situation in that particular circumstance was to punt the ball.
Was it because you guys just weren't moving the ball well?
Yeah, we weren't really controlling the line of scrimmage like would have liked to, and so that was the reasoning behind that. We've been pretty good at 4th down. I think we lead the conference in 4th downs. We've gone for about somewhere in the middle as far as there's some teams that go for a ton of 4th downs, some teams that go for any, and we're about right in the middle with our attempts, and I think we're leading the league in success with those attempts. So it's pick and choose your spots with that.
Kyle, what do you do spirit-wise with the team? I mean, with the 4-game skid, losing track.
Have a seance and do some things like that. Yeah. No, we just you just keep swinging. I mean, we've been playing quality teams. Like I said, I've said it ad nauseum this year that the level of play in this conference is very high, and it's from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, it's gotten better and better and better as a conference. I don't think there's anyone that'll dispute that, and so it's a challenge, and we just got to get ready and come back. And we're still playing as bad as we feel right now, and as tough a stretch as it's been. we've got 2 games left, and if we're somehow able to get 2 wins, then we're in a bowl game potentially. And so that's the main objective right now, is to get these seniors to the bowl game.
Kind of in part of the course, maybe that the 2 teams are playing just happen to start winning again too.
Yeah, they both won, which is good for them. Yeah, good for them.
Kyle, you speak of if something unforeseen happens, whether it's a helmet or an injury, to your starting quarterback, you put in Manning. Would you consider if the starting quarterback was ineffective, putting Manning in?
Nope, wouldn't burn it for that. No, we're going to, Travis is our guy, and we're down here to the last 2 games, and now if the ineffectiveness was due to an injury or something like that, then we got to make decisions. But as of this moment in time, we would not foresee doing that.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about recruiting going forward? Maybe is there a need to have a JC quarterback in the wings situation like this?
We're looking at all options in that respect, and like I said, this came out of nowhere. We thought we were completely set and had everything recruiting-wise and future-wise lined up, and that still may be our thought process regardless of what happens, but we're reevaluating it and making sure that we have our bases covered. And the JC quarterback's not always the answer. I mean, sometimes a freshman comes in and is more ready and more talented than a JC guy, but we're looking at all options.
You mentioned Travis to speak to the team today. Do you plan on having him on the sideline for these last 2 games as well?
That's a possibility for the Washington State for sure against Colorado, but Washington State, where there's road trip and limitations on, because no matter who you bring, injured or not, counts on your roster limitations. So we'll have to decide if that is in the best interest of the team to do that.
Can you talk a little bit just about the run game? You talked a lot about the need to get that going against Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Very average to maybe subpar. Like I said, the 2.8 carry is not nearly good enough. I didn't think we ran violently enough in the run game. There wasn't a lot of creases, but there was some things blocked up that we didn't get as much out of as we should with the runs, and so I thought that overall, personally, a little bit disappointed with how we ran the football. It wasn't completely ridiculously bad, but it wasn't what we needed to be, particularly with a quarterback that getting his first start. Should have given him more support with our run game.
Could you explain the redshirt process on a non-medical situation? Kid could be number 2 if he doesn't play. You remain in a redshirt and be your number 2 quarterback as long as he doesn't take a snap.
Correct. Yeah, you have. I think it's the first 4 ball games. The rule just changed. If you play within the first 4 weeks of the season and have an injury that precludes you from playing the rest of the way, you still qualify for redshirt, but that's a medical redshirt. In your case, you're talking about a non-medical. You can't play at all during the course of the season, and you can do. There is no other limitations other than that. You can practice with the 2s or the 1s for that matter. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you don't get in a game, not even for 1 play. 1 play will DQ you from the redshirt.
Coach, not to be insensitive to what Travis is going through, but for the team, do you kind of just get to the point where you throw your hands up and say, what else could happen to us in terms of quarterback?
No. I think you just you stay positive, you stay focused, and you keep trying to find answers to your problems. And it does get frustrating and discouraging at times, but no, I personally don't ever take that approach or that mentality.
Coach, when did you know that Jake Murphy was going to be available? That's what we thought he was going to be done for the season?
We thought he was going to be done for the season. That was the initial report. He's progressed faster than what they anticipated. He was chomping at the bit to play. He was on the, he's continually pestering training staff and everyone, let me back. And so we didn't find out. We found out it'd be a possibility that he may have a chance to play in the last couple games about 2 weeks ago, but it was pending another x-ray and some other things that had to happen. And then we didn't find out that he was cleared completely to play in this last game until either Thursday or Friday. I want to say Friday. But anyway, it's too late for game planning purposes.
So, Coach, as Carter becomes more and more a possibility, can you just give us some indication on what are some of his better attributes? Who is he maybe comparable to? And in your opinion, is he ready to step on the field?
He's very mature and very cerebral and has picked things up exceptionally quick since he's been here. his strengths. He's got such awareness, decision making, and I'm based mainly on high school. What we saw in high school under the gun in live situations, and some scrimmage situations here. Very poised, great deal of poise. Running is not his strong suit either. Doesn't have tremendous arm strength, but very accurate. He's an accurate thrower, and like I said, he's able to assimilate information and go through his read progressions and do those things that decision-making wise and processing wise that your quarterback needs to be able to do.
How comfortable would you feel if he was on the field right now?
If he was pressed into duty, I think he'd handle it well. I think he would. I think he's that's his strong suit is poise and focus, and so I don't think he'd miss a beat as far as being nervous or anything like that.
Coach, can you talk just a little bit about the quarterback position and what it's been like the last couple of years when you've
Huh.
to it before?
Yeah, well, we all know what it's been like. Before the season was talking about how this hopefully was the year that we're able to start and finish with the same guy. That proved not to be the case. And, you look at everything you're doing. Is there something we're doing to put him in harm's way? And we can't, we've evaluated everything over and over and over to make sure that it's not something that is an error on our part as coaches. And, we can't come up with anything other than just that's the way the ball bounces and things have happened.
Any other questions?
You said last year was one of your most difficult years personally as a head coach or as a coach. This year with the loss of Bainuku and Aaron Alford and now Travis' situation, the loss of piling up, how does last year compare to this year?
Yeah, very similar. And this year might start to, might be edging it out. It's been a little rough year in a lot of respects, and but it's you just got to move forward and take it as it comes.
Thank you.
Okay.